Okay, so brace for action, get yourself a cup of coffee and get ready because I'm showing you 17 email flows we have used to make our clients over $10 million. Now, after watching this video, my goal for you is that you know exactly how you can put a big chunk of your revenue on autopilot. You might be familiar with some of these flows. You might even have some of these in place, but most likely you're missing a few ones, or the ones that you have are not optimized. So what's the problem with that? So let's say you just set up the default Klaviyo templates that they create for you when you set up your flows, or you had a cheap agency or a cheap freelancer set up your flows. It will be like the equivalent of running very bad ads, very bad Google ads, very bad Facebook ads, and you not realizing. And that's the worst place to be in my opinion. You have flows, which is basically the equivalent of running ads that are underperforming. So with this video, I want to show you actual examples, actual flows, actual KPIs, some insights based on my own experience, some insider secrets, and everything you need to know to help you make more money. So without further ado, who am I? I'm Matthias Parelli, founder of Email Engineers. We're a lean and mean team that 7- and 8-figure e-commerce brands go to when they need to unlock more email revenue. We made over $10 million through email, specifically through Klaviyo, and that's enough for now. Now, what you're here for. These are the flows we'll be covering, and I've divided them into 3 sections. So we have the awareness flows, we have the consideration flows, and we have the retention and ascension flows. I'll explain what each one of these means in a moment. For now, take a mental screenshot of this and let's get started. Okay, so here we are inside this Notion document. At the end of this video, by the way, I'll share everything with you. So you don't have to take notes of everything right now, just the important things that I'm saying and that for some reason are not here in this guide. But everything else that you're seeing will be in a download link in the description of this video at the end. So don't worry about that. Now let's get started. First, let me explain the difference in these stages: the awareness, consideration, retention, and ascension. So for the most part, the order of the flows represent the order in which the subscriber will be going. So from top to bottom, from welcome and the abandonment flows, and then the new customer and the win back emails and so on, for the most part. Now, the goal of the awareness sequence is to introduce potential customers to your brand or your products and making them aware of who you are and what you offer. Okay, now, consideration flows. Now they are aware of your brand, and the goal for these flows is to persuade them to buy from you. I'll show you how we're doing that in a moment. Now for the retention and ascension, like the name says, the retention, the focus is to retaining our customers after they purchase from you, to get them to come back, to improve your lifetime value, and also improving their post-purchase experience. So the better experience they have, it has been proven in studies, the better experience they have, the most likely they're going to return and buy from you again. So that's the goal here. Finally, believe it or not, but this is not an exhaustive list. So there are more flows, but we can achieve them with a combination of segmentation. We can get to over 30 flows, but that's more advanced and most likely overkill, depending on the stage you're at. But this is a nice start. And finally, I'll be showing you some email examples. I don't want you to blindly copy them because you might have a different brand voice. You might have different demographics and psychographics, meaning your customers might be interested in different things than what these emails are talking about. There might be some legal and ethical issues. Your emails won't feel authentic. So it will be as if like a different version of your brand was talking. It's going to be very strange, and most importantly, it's going to be lame. So don't be lame and come up with your own emails. Now, let's begin with the first flow in the awareness sequence, and that's the welcome flow. Now, the welcome flow is my favorite. It's normally the responsible for most of the flow sales, though, so don't take this lightly. The trigger is when someone joins your email list, normally through a pop-up where you're offering a discount in exchange. Now, this flow is like the sales clerk of e-commerce stores, and again, one of the most important revenue-wise. In this sequence, we want to create a simple path taking someone from point A to B, a straight line, to getting someone from not knowing you very well to having enough confidence in you and your products to buy. So use this opportunity to introduce your potential buyers to your brand, educate them about your products, set the tone for what your brand is about, and keep them engaged, because most likely they won't buy from you on the first email. So think long term here. And this is usually also the first point of contact you have with your potential customers. So it's either this email or the checkout abandonment email that your subscribers will receive first. So keep that in mind. This can set the tone for all the emails that they read. And also, everything you say here will influence how your subscribers, potential customers, respond, react, and engage with you in the future. So a great welcome series can improve the result of all your other emails in the future, and also any other type of advertising and communication. So a proper welcome series can also influence the impact of your ads, the performance of your ads. So keep that in mind. And at this point, you have a blank canvas to create your own picture in their minds. So make it worth it. And this is very important. At this stage, they don't know you yet. So with just words on a screen, you can shape the perception these people have of you. Okay, so again, don't take this lightly. Now, what's the goal? We want to introduce your subscriber to your best products, your unique selling proposition, basically what makes you unique, different, your brand philosophy, build trust and make them like you and care about what you do and sell. As usual, it's always about them, not about you. Keep that in mind. And what's the ultimate goal? To get the first purchase. And why does this flow work so well? It's because these subscribers might have reached your website organically to Google or any other search, or through one of your ads. But at this stage, they are aware of your brand and also somewhat about your products, but they might not be completely sold, and that's important. So you need to smartly move them toward the first purchase by reinforcing your messaging. Anything you said in your ads, you want to reinforce that in your welcome flow. You want to be congruent with what you're saying and double down, triple down on that one message. What are some possible themes to talk about here? First, deliver the promise offer. If you have a pop-up and you are offering them 10% off, give them the 10% off. Most of your subscribers will be joining your list in exchange for this discount. So make it super easy for them to use it. Then you can also talk about your brand story, but not for just entertaining yourself, but to connect with them and connect with what they actually care about, what problems they try to solve, or what bad experiences they might have in the past, any fear they may have, their main motivations, and link your story to that. Your product story, social proof, education, unique selling propositions, and so on. Now, in terms of how many emails to put in this sequence, we want to have at least 5 emails. And why 5? Why not just 1, 2, 3, 4? Because we want to give us as many chances to get the sale as possible. Just as you wouldn't just run and show a person just one ad, the same is happening here. Think of it like the higher the frequency, the higher the likelihood to get the sale. But here, it's not the same email that we're sending, but different emails. So for example, depending on how many ideas you get across and any offers you want to include, you can add more emails. So if your product solves different problems, you might have an email for each problem. Or if you're using a supplement with different ingredients, you might have an email for each ingredient. So let's give us as many chances to get the sale as possible. In terms of KPIs, here we follow the 30-3-3 rule. So we want to see open rates over 30%, although it's not uncommon to see over 70% open rates here, as long as the sending infrastructure of your email is set up properly. Click rates and place order rates over 3%. So that's a 30-3-2 rule, but that's just the minimum standard, to be honest. We would like to have 50% open rates, at least 60%, and placed order rates over 5%. Same for click rates. Now, you will see a performance drop on the second email and beyond, which is normal, because from the first email, most of the people who were interested and who had the intention to buy bought. So in the second email and beyond is where actual email marketing is done. The first email, anyone can get sales, but on the second email and beyond is where you actually want to start doing proper email marketing. And I want to repeat this again because it's very important. These flows sets the tone for what your customers can expect from you in the future. So don't take shortcuts here. But just as with all flows, and this one in particular, think of this as an asset you're creating for your business, because it really is. It's an automation that you're creating once, and it's going to be generating sales for you for all time to come. So don't take this lightly. Don't take shortcuts here. So don't try to come up with something in just 1 hour and just have something just to have something. Instead, think long term. Now, some additional thoughts. You can read this. This is a thread. You can read this on the link. But here are some examples. So this one is for made trade. I won't go through each of these examples one by one because it's gonna be eternal. It's gonna take us a lot of time, but instead I'm just linking it below in the description again, and you will see we have examples, and for some flows we also have proper examples. And proper examples are emails we have created ourselves, either for clients or for other video training series that you can probably find here on my YouTube channel somewhere. And these are way better than the typical e-commerce emails you see. Also include a lot of other optimizations inside. So look at the examples, but also look at the proper examples. So try to understand the logic behind. So this is one example for Manscaped. In this case, it's a hybrid email with a design section at the top and a text-based section underneath, which performs way better. So you have your examples here, which I will recommend you read them. Now, let's move to the next awareness flow, and that's the site abandonment flow. This one is triggered when someone visits your store but doesn't make it to the product page, meaning they just visit your homepage or any other page that's not a product page or the checkout, and then they leave. This is the triggering site Klaviyo. Someone's active on your site and hasn't started checkout or hasn't purchased or hasn't viewed any product. You can take a look at this when you get access to this for free. Now, unlike the browse abandonment flow, which you might be familiar with, this one is sent to subscribers that don't arrive at the product page. But the goal is the same, and that's to move them closer to the purchase. They might have been browsing your homepage and had to leave because their phone rang, or they had to leave for work, or they received an Instagram notification, whatever. This flow sits at the top of the funnel, so we have to send them content to get them interested in checking out your products. And what's the goal? Make someone aware of who you are and what you sell. And what's the ultimate goal? Get someone retargeted by your middle and bottom of funnel flows. These are going to do most of the selling for you. What do I mean by this is that you're going to send this email, which I'm showing you an example in a moment. And ideally, they go to your website, they click a product, and in case they abandon, they're going to receive the next series of flows. So the browse abandonment, the checkout abandonment, and in those you can do a little more of hard selling. This one is just to push them over to those flows, to your website, to your store. And why does this flow work so well? So at this stage, your subscriber already gave you the email, so they must have been subscribed to your list to receive this. They must have been already pixeled by Klaviyo, and for some reason or another, they went back to your store. So there's interest, there's actual interest in your brand. So we want to simply respark their curiosity and interest in your brand and your products. Some possible themes: talk about your best sellers, your product lines or categories, your story, anything that's interesting. Length, 3 to 5 emails. Again, we want to give us as many chances to get a sale as possible. And KPI, because this is a flow with lower buying intent, we can expect lower conversion rates. So shoot for 1 to 3% placed order rates, and open rates should still be high, 40% and up. Now, what's an example of this? This is a very interesting one. It's definitely not what you see every day. And this is a mix of someone might consider this a browse abandonment email, but this could also work as a site abandonment email if you, instead of showing just one product, you show it your product line and took someone back to your store. So keep that in mind. And that's for awareness flows. Now, let's move to consideration flows. And these are also very important. They're going to put a good chunk of your revenue on autopilot. So let's go. We have the browse abandonment, checkout abandonment, cart abandonment, and back in stock. I'm explaining the difference between these two in a moment, but let's get started with the browse abandonment. This one is triggered when someone visits a product in your store but doesn't make it to checkout. So they view a product and then they leave. Now, with this sequence, we'll be reaching subscribers when they're hotter. So they have actual interest in your products. They just saw one of your products, but for some reason or another, they didn't buy. And now we have to do actual marketing, actual advertising to get these subscribers to buy. What's the goal here? To remind your subscribers about the products that they were browsing and move them closer to the purchase. And why does this work so well? Because at this point, we know for sure one thing about the person receiving this email. They are interested in your products. There's actual interest. We don't know the degree of this interest, if they're just waiting with the credit card in their hands, but we'll be sending different types of emails to cover all fronts in any case. So think of this as an alternative welcome flow. A subscriber must have been Klaviyo pixeled again for this view product metric to trigger. Whenever they click a campaign, they get that Klaviyo cookie again in the browser, or they just recently subscribed. So in any case, they are interested in what you're selling. So let's make the decision easier. Some possible themes here. To motivate them to buy, we have to anticipate what's on the subscriber's mind. Do they need a little more education before buying? That's going to depend on your products. Are they looking for product instructions? Are they worried about sizes? Whatever it might be, we need to give it to them. So some ideas. A simple nudge. Here's what you were looking for. That's a typical email. More information about the product that they saw. Reintroduce them to your unique selling propositions, what makes you unique. Create desire again for your brand and your products. Offer or help or introduce them to your customer service. If your products are more on the expensive side, you might also include special offers, but just not at the first email. The first email, always try to send it without any discount. You always are going to recover sales this way anyway. So save yourself some margin and leave the discounts for later emails. And you might also use scarcity as long as it's real, as long as your products actually go out of stock every so often. you might use some scarcity, saying that stock is running out. Length, again, at least 5 emails. We can be at 8 to 10 emails as long as they are good emails and not repetitive. So remember about what we talked about in the welcome sequence, that we have different themes to talk about depending on the different benefits your product solves, the different ingredients if you are selling a supplement or whatever. We can send 8 to 10 emails as long as they are not repetitive, talking about these different angles if you want. Now you can also include some advanced segmentation here. So if they viewed a specific product, we can send a browse abandonment email talking about that specific product, the specific problems that that product solves, and it's going to resonate much better. So we call these MVP flows. You might be familiar with them if you've been following. I got another video talking about that. You can also segment by different categories or collections. So if you're selling, let's say, clothing, and they browse the hoodie collection, you might send a browse abandonment email with different hoodie recommendations, social proof, reviews about your hoodies, and so on. In terms of KPIs, we also like to see at least 30% open rates, 3% click rates. And here with 1% and over placed order rate, you're at a good spot. Some extra thoughts here and some examples. So these are your typical examples, which you can see later on. Now, moving on to our checkout abandonment flow. The trigger here is someone start checkout but then abandon it. Very straightforward. So most of you are familiar with this flow, but you might know it as the cart abandonment sequence, but that's actually a checkout abandonment sequence. There's another flow, which I'm showing you in a moment, which is called the cart abandonment, and that's when someone goes to your product page, clicks the add to cart button, but then leaves. And there's a difference in the way this flow works. So again, to trigger here, someone starts checkout and then abandons it. But now, before I continue, let me talk about one of the most common errors people make at this stage when trying to recover a cart, and that's that they make these emails about the cart and not about the person paying for the cart. Once again, the number one mistake I see people doing is making these emails about the cart, not about the person paying for the cart. So yes, a portion of the people receiving these emails just got distracted, and just a simple nudge will recover the cart. But the other 90% need extra reasons to buy. They need to get motivated with compelling reasons to buy. So we have seen increases in conversion rates of 2 to 5 times by making these emails less about the cart and more about the person behind the cart, their motivations, their desires. Why are they buying your products? And I'm going to show you an example in a moment. So what's the goal here? Get people to know, like, and trust your brands and your products. And the ultimate goal, to recover a lost cart. And why does this work? Because at this stage, these people, these subscribers, have already shown interest in your products and are ready to buy, but for some reason or another, they decided to leave. And while we can't read customers' minds yet, your second best choice is to anticipate possible objections and provide guidance to move them closer to completing the order. So we want to anticipate objections. Now, each brand is unique here. Depending on what you sell, the objections are going to be different. But you have to think about this, create a list of the most common objections someone might have for not buying from you, and tackle those in these emails. And also, don't forget, these are the first emails someone might receive from you together with the welcome flow. If it's not the welcome flow, it's going to be the checkout abandonment email. So you must also inject your brand's personality, your stories, and all of that in these emails. Again, it's not just about the cart. Now, what are some possible themes here? You want to address objections, remind them about the product's benefits, use social proof, reinforce their buying decisions. So if you think that they were purchasing this because of, let's say, it's a supplement to help with their energy, you want to reinforce this idea that they have, that by buying your products, they're going to have more energy. You want to also include incentive, discounts, again, not in the first email because that's just giving away your margin, but in emails beyond that. And also paint the positive experience they will have with your product. So this is called creating vision. So have them imagine how good their life it's going to be after they get your products. In terms of length, at least 5 emails, but aim for 8 emails. And this and the same logic that we talk about in the welcome sequence and the first abandonment sequence applies. We have tons of different angles here, so treat each one of these emails as different ammo that you're trying to use to convince someone to buy. So some email might resonate with one type of customer, another email might resonate with another type of customer, and so on. And you can also do some advanced segmentation here. So by cart value, for example, for bigger cards, you can send a bigger incentive to move people to pull the credit cards and buy. So if the card is way above your average card, let's say they're spending $1,000 when the typical card is $100, you might want to offer them a special discount. Or you can also segment by customers versus non-customers and treat your repeat customers differently and make them feel special here. Or you might also segment by products in their cart. So again, this is what we would call MVP flows here. And for example, if one of your products make over 80% of your revenue, then it's worth creating a dedicated sequence to this product and make these emails about this specific product features, benefits, and anything that you will know will get people closer to buying. And I'm linking to one video somewhere here about a case study of a client where we added over $500,000 in 91 days using MVP flows. So you might want to check that out too. Now, in terms of KPIs, we will also follow the 30-3-3 rule. So 30% open rates, 3% click rates, and 3% purchase rate. But again, with this flow, we can expect at least 30% open rate, but ideally 50%, 60% open rates. And now let's see some examples. So I'm attaching some examples here. This is your typical cart abandonment email. When you think about cart abandonment, this is what comes to mind. But I'm also attaching proper examples. So this is for a training video that's already on my channel. In this case, we created a checkout abandonment flow for Sigmatic, tailored specifically to this product right here. And this is a hybrid email with a design section and a text section. And this is another email and another email, which you can read later on. Now, let's move to the cart abandonment flow. Again, the trigger here is differently. The trigger here is they click the add to cart button. Now here you want to just give them some nudges. You can also do the same strategy of appealing to different angles, but I wouldn't get so hardcore in creating as many emails as for the checkout abandonment flow. Why? Because probably you're going to push someone to that flow with this email. So let that flow do the heavy lifting. So what's the goal here is to remind them about the product that they added to the cart and encourage them to buy. Why does this work? Because again, they showed interest in your products. People normally don't just go and click the add to cart button unless there's real interest, except that they just didn't make it to checkout. Could be for any reason. Maybe they just forgot, they got interrupted, whatever. In terms of themes, it's very similar to the cart abandonment flow. So address possible objections, remind them about your product's benefit, highlight social proof, reinforce their buying decisions. So another example, if you're a clothing brand, say how good they're going to look with those new jeans, whatever. Give them incentives, paint the positive experience they will have with your products, create a vision in their mind. With 3 to 8 emails, you're going to be fine. You can start with 3 emails in this flow, and as long as they are getting good engagement and sales metric, you can keep adding new emails. The KPI, again, follow the 30-3-3 rule. Some examples, you can actually refer to the checkout abandonment flow examples, and the only difference is that there's just one product being shown here at the time, because that's just how this flow works. Now, back to our final flow in the consideration stage, and that's the back in stock flow. And the name says it all. This one is triggered when someone subscribes to receive the back in stock notifications. And the second trigger is when that product is actually back in stock. So this is like a two-part flow. The first one is triggered when someone subscribes to the back in stock flow, and then there's a delay until the product is actually back in stock. So you can send an email just as someone subscribes here, and then the other email is just when the product is actually back in stock. Now, if one of your products go out of stock frequently, instead of leaving your site visitors in your bank account disappointed, give them the option to enter the emails for notification when they're back in stock. It creates a better customer experience for them, and it's also a nice way to grow your email list. So it's a win-win. And the setup is fairly simple. You just need to include a Klaviyo code that they provide you. Now, the goal here, we have two moments here, which I already discussed. So we have two goals. So the goal for the first part is to create excitement and introduce them to other products that are in stock. You can even give them a discount incentive when they subscribe here, and this email often do very well. So when they subscribe to receive back in stock notification, you say like, hey, sorry that this product is not in stock, but here's a discount you can use right away. And we could send this to new customers, people who haven't purchased from you, just to avoid making this an habit for all your customers. And the second part of this flow triggers when the product is actually back in stock. So you can send them an email right away when this happens. And the goal here is to use the consistency psychology principle and tell them that the product that they say they wanted to buy is now in stock. So it's basically, in case you're not familiar with this is one of the Cialdini's psychology principles that is basically playing on the fact that they told you that they were interested in buying this. So you're not saying, hey, you were interested in this, do you still want it? Very straightforward. And the ultimate goal is to increase lifetime value and create an overall better customer experience for people shopping your site. And these usually go hand by hand. Now, why does this work so well? First, people receiving these emails went out of their way to give you their emails in exchange for a notification when their favorite products are back. So they actually had buying interest, but the product just wasn't in stock, so they couldn't buy. And again, this also works because of the consistency and the commitment principle by Robert Cialdini. And the short version is this: people have a tendency to act in a way that is consistent with their past behavior. And here's what I mean. So let's talk about the possible theme. Let them know that the product you say you wanted to buy is now back in stock. Still want it? And also very important, make these emails exciting. So they might have been waiting weeks or even months for the product that is now back in stock. So create excitement around this whole email flow. And finally, if there's a chance that your product might go out of stock again, then say so. Add some little scarcity and potentially offer them incentives if they haven't purchased after a few days. So you can have 2 to 5 emails here. So if the first email is sent immediately, you can offer a discount if you want. If not, that's fine. You just tell them that they're in the waiting list. Then when the product is back in stock, you send them an email, and you can add a waiting time here, say 3 days, if they still haven't purchased, offering them a discount. In terms of KPI, these emails have high buying intent, so also the 30-30 rule applies. 30% open rates, 3% click rates, and 3% place order rate. And here's an example from Away. And that's for consideration flows. Now let's go to the retention and ascension flows, which make most of the flows as they should be. So it's one thing getting a customer, but it's another thing to get them to buy again. Now let's get started with the new buyer flow, or the first time post-purchase. So what's the trigger here? Someone placed their first order with you. And here's how you can set this up. Now, this might be one of the most underrated flows in my opinion. And that's why I love to implement this for clients. So in marketing, in advertising, if you do the things that no one else is doing, you'll stand out like a BBL and have a special place in your customer's mind. And that's a place where you can influence them. No, what's the goal? Create the best purchase journey to improve the chances that they purchase again. And also get people to experience and use the product in the best way possible. I'll tell you what I mean in a moment. The ultimate goal is to increase lifetime value. And why does this work? So the threshold to get a random person on the internet to trust you and buy from you is super high. And you're probably spending anywhere from $10 to $50 or even more to acquire a new customer. And even more if you're selling high ticket items. So it's key that you create an experience that surpasses their expectations, that wows them, and improves the odds that they'll buy from you again. This also goes for the offline experience, so your packaging, your delivery, any messages that you include inside, and so on. But on the email side of things, the bar is very low. Few brands are doing this. So just having a few emails will make a difference. Now, in terms of possible themes here, this might be the third way that people are receiving an email from you for the first time. So we have the welcome sequence, we have the cart abandonment sequence, or the checkout abandonment sequence rather, and another might be if they just skip those sequences and just purchase right away from you. So it's a good practice to view this also as an alternative welcome sequences and talk about similar topics. So for example, your brand story, your product story, social proof, product education, unique selling propositions, and so on. So make them feel special and welcome to reduce buyer remorse while also getting them excited about the order, and teach them the best way to use the products so they make the most out of them and they have the experience that they're supposed to have with your products. So if you're selling clothing, teach them how to take care of your clothing. Or if you're selling a technology gadget, send them to a YouTube video explaining how to use it, whatever. Length. We can set up 2 to 5 emails here depending on how many topics you want to talk about. And for KPIs, we just have to monitor click rates and open rates. So click rates depending on what you're including inside the email, and open rates as an overall deliverability metric. And here are some examples with different goals. So this one is a very straightforward post-purchase email. And this is another more on the educational side. Next, moving to the repeat post-purchase flow. Now, this flow is triggered when someone places their second order with you and beyond. So basically, a repeat customer. And the big idea here is why have just one flow that triggers everyone the same, as most brands do, when we can create one that's going to address different customers differently and make them feel special and overall make them like our brand more. So the goal here is to acknowledge the importance and loyalty and also find ways to upsell and cross-sell new products to improve lifetime value. Why does this work so well? Because people going through this sequence are going to be more receptive to what we have to say. So they already trusted us twice at least with their purchase. They know about your product's quality, they know about your service and shipping times and so on. And so possible themes here: acknowledge their loyalty first of all, then introduce new cross-sells, upsells, emails, exclusive content. In terms of length, start with 2 emails, but shoot for more depending on what you have to say or how many products you want to cross-sell or upsell them. And shoot for at least 40% open rate, ideally 50 or even 60%. Now let's see some examples. We have the typical post-purchase email here, and we also have an email we created for one of our clients, Vito Pro Pack. The goal here was to reinforce their images. So they sell expensive tool bags that are expensive because they are very high quality. So they are like the Apple of tool bags. So the purchase here is also kind of emotional, not just logical, same as with Apple. You're paying to feel a certain way. It's not only about the product, although that's a big part, but it's also to feel a certain way. And with this email, we're reinforcing that images they have of themselves. And if we reinforce this image they have of themselves, guess in which other way they can keep reinforcing this image in the future? By buying more products. So anyway, that's an example email you might want to include. Now let's talk about the VIP flow. So this one is triggered when someone joins your VIP segment in Klaviyo. So you have to create a segment in Klaviyo, set up some filters here. So for example, if someone orders over $200 with you, if someone spends over $200 with you, you will create a property that gets saved for each subscriber. And here's how you can set that up. But first, why a VIP program? So it's a good way to keep your customers engaged and looking forward to continue to buy from you. And if you have a Klaviyo account, you have everything needed to automate these life cycle messages. You can automatically let customers know when they become VIP and send them reminders about the perks and everything else if they still haven't used those perks. All you have to do is define what's your VIP segment, and this flow will trigger automatically. And what's the goal here? So welcome your VIPs to the program, get them excited because they are now VIP, make them feel special because they are now part of something bigger. And of course, the ultimate goal here is to increase your lifetime value. And why does this work? Let me tell you, it's because these VIP emails are engaging by nature. So they add an element of gamification to your brand, which helps keep things interesting and exciting for your customers. And then you can also use this VIP segment for future campaigns. So one thing we normally do here with clients is VIP customers a head start on sales events and restocks, and they will appreciate it. And usually the conversion rates on these emails are very high, and just it's a nice way to do business, in my opinion. Now, some possible themes, you want to introduce them to your VIP program, any special perks, discounts, and exclusive offers included with the program. You want to also play on the status. So depending on your brand and your positioning, you might say things that like you're no Black Diamond or whatever name you're giving to your different VIP segments. You can also ask these people for feedback. So these are your best customers. So ideally you want every customer to be like these people. So you want to understand the mind and how VIPs are thinking. What's getting them to buy? And then you want to do more of that in your ads, in emails, and everywhere else. You can also add some time delay here to remind your VIPs about the perks in case they haven't still purchased after the announcement. And also do sometimes sales events that are exclusive for VIPs. In terms of length, 2 to 5 emails covering these possible topics. And here's an example. This is actually for a VIP campaign, but you can see how this will apply for a VIP announcement very easily. So instead of giving them a discount, you will talk about the different perks. Now let's move to another favorite, the win back flow. The trigger here is someone hasn't purchased from you in a set amount of time. So usually months. So it could be 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, depending on your actual data. How often are people buying from you? And the thing is that you probably already know that it's cheaper to retain a customer than to acquire a new one. So this flow takes care of that. And what's the goal here is to provide compelling reasons for customers to buy again from you. You might also have some special offers for these people. The ultimate goal, as usual, is to increase lifetime value. And why does this work so well? And it's because people going to this sequence already trusted you enough to buy from you. But for some reason or another, they haven't purchased again from you in some time. In any case, we can create emails that talk directly to them. So you can address the fact that they already purchased from you and they probably had a reason to do so. Or they wanted to solve a specific problem. You can check whether they still need to solve that problem. So again, that's the consistency psychology principle. And depending on the type of products that you sell, you might need anything from a simple nudge to a big irresistible offer to win them back. So if you're selling CPG, the bar is very low. If you're selling one-time products, so let's say technology gadgets, it's gonna take a little more, especially if you're selling high ticket products. And again, you can add, and maybe you should include incentives to attract back a customer, but don't go overboard. First, give them the chance to buy from you without any discount by appealing to their own self-interest, to the reasons that made them buy from you in the first place. You can give yourself many opportunities, just as we did with the welcome emails, with the browse abandonment and checkout emails, and appeal to different angles and motivations, desires that they might have to buy from you in the first place. But after that, you can use a discount ladder and progressively have bigger discounts until they buy, so that you don't give your margin right away. Let me show you what I mean. For example, you can have your first offer be a 10% off valid for 7 days. Then you will wait, say, 1 week and have another offer valid for 7 days where you include a free gift with purchase. And then another week or another 2 weeks or 1 month later, depends on you, have a third offer where you're giving them 15% off for 7 days. This is an offer ladder. Each offer gets better with time. And you can get very creative here. Now, in terms of possible themes, we already discussed this. Different motivations they might have to buy, different discounts or offers. And in terms of the length, at least 2 emails, but you will see that you can easily get to 8 emails here, depending on how many offers you have, how many emails appealing to their interest you have, and so on. In terms of KPIs, again, it's gonna depend on your product. So if you're selling CPG, supplements, consumables, the buy rate is gonna be way higher because it's an easier sell. If you're selling non-consumables or one-time products, you might see a 0.2, 0.5, 1% sales rate with these emails. And here are some examples. You have this from Print Fresh, and you have some proper examples. This is for another video. This is for Quest Nutrition. Subscribe and save. And this is one of the offers in the offer ladder. This is a dynamic code, so everyone receives a specific and unique discount, so this doesn't get leaked elsewhere. And this is a blog using Klaviyo's AI feature to suggest products based on what they purchased to increase the conversion rate. That's for the win-back flow. Now, another favorite, the replenishment flow. This is for consumable packaged goods, supplements, and any replenishable product brand. The trigger here is very similar to the win-back flow, but it's just triggered way earlier. So with the win-back flow, we waited 2 or 3 months. In this one, we're waiting 30 days or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, so depending on your buying cycle. So if customers are buying on average every 5 weeks, you might want to send these emails at week 3 or week 4, anticipating that purchase. And what's cool about these emails is that you can give your customers the chance to repeat their order with just 1 click. Klaviyo makes this possible. So what's the goal here? To give customers a chance to replenish their product with just 1 click. And the ultimate goal, as usual, to increase lifetime value. And why does this work so well? Because there's a stupidly simple reason why your customers won't buy again from you. They forgot about it. So think about it for a second. Customers are just like you and me. So we have tons of things going on through the week, and we just postpone this decision to buy, and we just forget, and we have work and bills to pay and chores and childs and problems and life, and we just simply forgot. So this flow makes it super easy for them to buy again. And so possible themes, so this flow is very straightforward, but as usual, our emails should be about our customers and their needs and wants and motivations, not only about the products. So you can get started with a simple nudge. So hey, we noticed that you haven't purchased from us. Here's a button to repeat your last order, something like that. But then you can also touch on the motivations they may have had to buy in the first place and why they should continue buying from you. So if you're selling supplements, and let's say you're selling a pre-workout supplement, you know that they're buying this to improve their workout. So you can ask them how their workout has been, if they're still interested in having the best workouts of their life, and so on. Another angle, you can talk about the problems that they're trying to avoid with your products and why they should continue buying from you to keep avoiding these products. So again, a supplement might be, let's say, a focus supplement. So if they are facing like brain fog, and if they want to keep avoiding brain fog, so they can properly function at work and be productive and so on and get promoted and have a fantastic life, they should keep buying from you. In terms of length, 3 to 5 emails, so you can include offers here as usual. Do not give an offer or a discount right away. Try to get them to buy first with compelling reasons and compelling angles. So in terms of KPIs, you can shoot for over 40% open rate, over 4% click rate, over 2% placed order rate. And here are some examples. And here are some proper examples. So this is for another video that's gonna be in my channel. If it's not out now, it's gonna be soon in the future. This one is for tabs. And again, we are appealing to one of the main motivations they might have in the first place to buy. And the cool thing is they click this button and they repeat this order again. It takes them straight to checkout with these same products already in their cart and everything filled, and they just have to click one button to buy. If they are using Shop Pay, they just click one button and they're good to go. Or we can also offer them the chance to shop different products. In this case, they just have one main product, so it doesn't make sense that much to put this above. But if you are selling many replenishment products, you may offer them the chance to build another cart. And you can see these are also a mix of a design section and a text section, because for consumables and supplements, the LTV is made not on the first purchase, but on all the other purchases. So we want to put some special focus. And again, I'm going to remind you, these flows are assets that you're building for your business. So don't take this lightly. So this is literally a piece of code and words and images on the internet that you're creating that is just magically getting your customers to buy again from you. So think about it. Think about how amazing that is. So one last time, don't take this lightly. Spend time. If you have the money, go and hire a professional to do this for you, because this is just going to get you sales and sales and sales on repeat. Moving on, we have the referral program sequence. So this is basically giving you another chance to get new customers through a different medium. So have your best customers refer your brand and your products to their friends. You will want to send these emails after someone buys from you. So you might want to include this in your first purchase sequence, the new buyer flow, or the repeat post-purchase sequence. Or you can have this as a standalone flow. It's up to you. We prefer to include them in the other flows. But this is a great flow if you have products that are sold one time, or you just want to add another way to acquire customers. The big idea here is that you will send these emails after someone buys from you, introducing them to your program and educating them on the program benefits, on the referral program benefits. It's very simple, very straightforward. Now, we have seen the best results with clients where there's an incentive to the referee and the referrer. So both of them. And the math is simple. If your customer acquisition cost is $20, then giving them a 5% discount to the referee and a 5% discount to the referrer is a no-brainer, because you will be paying $10 for a customer instead of $20. And there's a high chance that these customers are going to be good customers. So what's the goal? Get new customers for free or cheaper than normal. And what I was telling you, there's a high chance that your customers have friends with similar likes, hobbies, taste, preference, and psychographics to them. So similar motivations and wants and needs. So if they had a great experience buying from you, there's a chance that they're going to tell their friends. And with the referral program, we simply want to lubricate this process to make it easier and more likely that this referral happens. Now, possible themes. There are 2 ways you can frame these emails. So the first one is a benefit to the referrer. So this is appealing to selfish reasons. For example, your next socks are on us. If you're selling socks and if you're giving them a 5% discount, for example. The other way is a benefit to the referee, so appealing to altruistic reasons. Here's a gift card for your kid or friend, for example. And normally you want to do both because you're going to have both people in your customer list. In terms of length, 2 to 5 emails will do the trick. You can get started with just 2, one for each of these possible themes or angles. And here are a few examples. This is a good deal. Will you take that deal? I take this deal. Moving on to another exciting flow, and this is the birthday flow. Few brands have this flow in place. So what's the trigger here? A subscriber birthday is approaching, and we have the triggers right here. So there are 3 moments in this flow. First, it's 1 to 2 weeks before their birthday. The second one is the Monday of their birthday week. You'll see what I mean in a moment. And 3, we send an email on their actual birthday. So most brands do this with our clients. We want to give us multiple opportunities to get the sales. So we have these other 2 triggers. So 1 to 2 weeks before their birthday, the trigger is like this. And you're going to have this with the download link. Then the Monday of the birthday, and I'm explaining each one below. And then their actual birthday. Now, the goal here is to give subscribers a discount or offer they can use in celebration of the birthday, as the name says. And this discount can be good for a few days, a week, or even an entire month. And why does this work so well? Because this is playing on the reciprocity psychology principles. So this is Robert Cialdini again. And it says that we're more likely to do something for someone when giving something first. So it's you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. So in other words, they'll be most likely to like your brand and buy from you because you're giving them a present and remembering their birthday when their best friends aren't. Of course, you're not remembering anything. This is just an automation. But in their minds, you are. And this takes us to the second reason why these emails work so well. And that's because there's a reason why for this present. And let me capitalize this. There's a reason why. And a reason why is a concept deeply ingrained in our meaning-seeking brain. It gives us a stronger belief when something has a reason behind it. It's more solid. It's not just a random discount we're giving them. It's a discount because it's a birthday. It feels more legit. So let me give you an example. Which one sounds more real? Flash sale, get 10% off for 7 days only, or 1 year anniversary sale. Get 10% off for 7 days and celebrate with us. Now, hopefully you say the second option. And that's because there's a reason why here. And this is a good principle to keep in mind when creating any sort of advertising. Now, some possible thing, this is straightforward, it's a birthday. So give them their gift or the discount in a compelling way. For example, not just, hey, here's 20% off, but linking it to the ways they be able to benefit from your products and the problems they can solve with your products. So again, let me repeat this, and I have to repeat this over and over until this idea is deep inside your brain. Your email should always be about the person on the other side of the screen, not about you. And in this sequence, more than ever. Now, in terms of length, you can make this sequence 2 to 6 emails. So remember, there are 3 moments here, so you can have 1 email per moment plus a few reminders. Then in terms of KPI, you can shoot for at least a 1% conversion rate here. So it's gonna depend on your offer. So if you have a very good offer, you can increase that conversion rate to 3 to 5%. And always try to find a good angle so you can link their birthday to this offer in a creative way. And here we have some examples. Say this email makes it about them. So spending your favorite dress, or this one, or this proper example we made as a demo for ColourPop for a future video or a live video, depending if it's live, we're gonna link it somewhere here. And as you can see here, this one is sent in anticipation for the birthday, so a week before the birthday, and we have this beautiful email with a dynamic code so the code doesn't get leaked elsewhere. Now back to our next flow. We have the order delivered sequence. Now, as the name says, this is triggered when an order is delivered. Now, you're gonna need a third-party app so you can keep track of when your orders are delivered and then trigger this flow. And a few examples of them: Wonderment, Aftership, Parcels Panel, Tractor. We really like Wonderment here. And the goal is to thank your customers for their trust and create hype for the products, for the experience they are going to have, for the benefits they are going to enjoy, and so on. And the ultimate goal, as usual, is to increase lifetime value. And why does this work? Because your customers have been expecting the whole time for your products. So this is a moment of peak excitement. So we want to make this super memorable and trigger different emotions. So the more emotions we can trigger in our customers' brain, the more room for our brand they're going to have. And this sequence is often overlooked by brands, so don't be one of them. In terms of possible themes, first we want to reinforce the buying decision that they made. Then we want to paint a picture of how good the life is gonna be now that they have your products. And another trick here is that we can encourage them to record themselves on packaging the product. So saying that it would be cool if they could record themselves on packaging their order and so on. Basically, so they can later send us an UGC type video and we can use that either as a review or in our ads or landing pages and so on. And also we can cross-sell them different products here, different relevant products. So if you have a bestseller and they just purchased this bestseller, you might include a small piece of copy in your email, hinting them that they can also get this product. In terms of length, start with 2 emails and build up from there, covering these different topics. And you can see an example here from a brand that did a very good job. And they include a few educational pieces here, which is always very good, and included a few of the reminders about their app, the customer service, the referral program, and so on. Moving on to the review request sequence. So we're triggering the sequence days or weeks after they placed their order, depending on your shipping time, your fulfillment time. So ideally they have 3 to 5 days to use and enjoy your products, and we're encouraging them to leave us a review. Why? Simply to improve the conversion rates of our product pages and landing pages. Because the more reviews we have, the more legit we look, and that's for the social proof principle. We trust what others are buying. Now, why does this work so well? Because the percentage of customers who go out of their way to leave you a review is basically 0, unless we nudge them to do so. So think about it. They might have had the best experience, they might have loved your products, but they simply can't be bothered to go out of their way and leave you a review. It's just normal. So by simply sending a reminder and making them super easy for them, we'll be on our way. And I've seen a lot of brands that offer a discount incentive, so that's a possibility that works, but it's not a requirement. So I'm linking to a case study here where we increased the reviews by 47% for a brand without offering a single incentive, just by sending more emails and better emails. Now, in terms of the actual emails, again, we have seen there are 2 ways to make this work very well. The first is that you can frame this email as a benefit to the reviewer, so appealing to selfish reasons. For example, get 5% off your next order, or show everyone your new look, for example. Or the other frame you can use in this email is a benefit to the reader, so appealing to altruistic reasons. For example, you can help someone in your same situation make a better choice, or your review can improve someone's life, something like that. 2 different angles appealing to 2 different types of people in your list. And the length, 2 to 4 emails, the more the better, as long as they are good and different and are not just saying the same thing over and over. And here's an example from Decathlon. The good thing about this is that they have the option to just leave the review inside the email. So that's reducing friction and improving, at the end of the day, the percentage of people leaving us a review. This is gonna depend on the review app you use. So if you're not using any at the moment, try to look for one that offers this possibility. We're a big fan of Okendo over here, but any will do the trick. Next, we have the subscription welcome flow. And this one is for you if you're selling supplements, CPG, anything on a subscription program. And the trigger here is gonna depend on the app you're using. So they might have an integration with Klaviyo that we can track when they start a new subscription. Most of them do that, so that's the trigger here. And the logic here, it's very similar to a post-purchase flow. We want to get customers excited, possibly offer cross-sell opportunities, educational content, and so on. And the goal, the reason we're doing all of this is to improve the chances that they'll continue being a product subscriber. And the ultimate goal is to reduce churn and increase lifetime value. And again, the reason why this works so well is for the same reason that the new buyer flows work. To get a random person to trust you and give you money over the internet is difficult. So you spend a lot to acquire a new customer. So it's key that you create an exceptional experience all along the way. In terms of themes, again, very similar to the new buyer flow. You can talk about your brand story, add some social proof, some education, and so on. Make them feel special, make them feel that they made a very good decision by joining your program, and possibly about how much money they'll be saving in a month, in a year, and the amazing life that they're going to have, and so on. Now, a couple of other cool stuff that you can do here is that you want to resell them on the benefits that they are going to enjoy for your products. Now, this is specifically good for supplement brands. So let's say you're selling a pre-workout supplement. You want to resell them on how amazing their workouts are going to be now, and overall creating a good vision for the new life, so to speak. This is all so it's more likely for them to use the product, enjoy the products, get the benefits, and make it an habit in their life. In terms of length, 2 to 5 emails touching different topics. KPIs, just monitor open rate, aim for over 40%, ideally over 50%. And here's an example email that, as you can see, explain how the program works and so on. So this is a critical flow if you're using a subscription program. And finally, the sunset unengaged flow. The big picture here is that this flow helps with email deliverability. So helps increase your open rates, your click rates, and also reduces your email app bill. The trigger here is that if someone has not been opening your emails in 2 to 3 months, we're adding them to a dynamic segment and they're going to enter this flow. And if you're in Klaviyo, here's how you will set this up. And again, the whole concept here is that you can have the most beautiful emails, the best copywriting, the best strategy. But if your emails are landing in spam, then they're worthless. So this flow helps us get rid of those subscribers who haven't been engaging, opening, clicking on emails, so that we don't keep sending them emails and Gmail and Yahoo sees us as spammers. And think about it. So if you're sending 1 or 2 campaigns per week, which in my opinion is the minimum, then the people entering this flow will have received 12 to 20 campaigns and opened 0 of them, depending on how you set up this segment. So let that sink in. If they have received 10 emails and they have opened 0, then we can safely assume they are not going to open any in the future. So we shouldn't do the bet that they're going to open in the future in exchange of hurting our email deliverability. It's not worth it. So the whole idea behind this flow is to give these people one last chance to engage with our emails or just unsubscribe. Either way is fine for us. And the idea here is that if they open this email because of this trigger, they are going to be taken out of this sequence and out of this segment. Now, you can use different subject lines, but I don't like subject lines that are too creepy. So what some brands do, they send emails with subject lines like, "Why haven't you opened our emails?" But that's not a good angle in my opinion. Instead, something like, "Will you open this one?" So it's more of curiosity but less negative feelings. And once again, I'm repeating this, but make your emails 100% about them, especially this one. So remind them about the problems that you solve. Position yourself as the only solution. Let them know what they've been missing. Tease them about the exciting things that are coming, and give them the option to unsubscribe if they're no longer interested in receiving your emails. You shouldn't be scared of losing a subscriber if they are legitimately not interested in what you sell. In terms of length, just start with one email because of the nature of this flow is gonna be people with low email engagement. So we wouldn't want to send 3 emails if they really haven't been opening any of them. And in terms of KPIs, again, because this is sent to people with low engagement, you can expect lower open rates, but still shoot for at least 15 to 20% open rates. And finally, here's an example. I will also include here a button to unsubscribe, just as this is gonna keep you on the list. I will include another one to just get them out of the list. And why? Again, to reduce our email bill and most importantly, to improve our email deliveries. So if these people are not interested in what we sell anymore, then why keep them sending emails? It's just a waste of time. And with that, we are officially done. So we covered all 17 flows. Hopefully now you have a better idea and you can start implementing this for your own brand. But some last note before I end this video. If you have a brand doing over $200,000 a month and want us to optimize all the flows for you, implement the ones that you're missing, and overall increase the sales from all your flows, then schedule a strategy session to see if we'd be a good fit. The link is gonna be in the description, but a reminder, we're a small team, so we can only work with a few brands at a time. So the sooner you do this, the later, else we have to put you on a wait list, which can be from 4 weeks to 6 weeks or 8 weeks. So the link for that is gonna be on the description of this video. Else, if you want to do this yourself, the link to download the course is gonna be in the description. And again, it is completely free. So either way, if you're a brand and you want us to do this, or you want to simply try and do this on your own, the links are gonna be on the description.